On this episode of The Solo Show, we've got another trip report. No, really, seriously, listen.
The first half of the trip was great. I mean, listen, when I say great, we're talking about Florida heat, so it was hot. I mean, hot, you know.
Yeah.
But that was the first couple days, and I had a few friends that were there the week before, and I met up with them our first night, and they were like, "Oh, you guys are so lucky because it rained the week before a lot." But as I think it was like around Tuesday night it rained, Wednesday was good, Thursday and Friday, I mean, it was just rain. It just poured, like monsoon rain, just crazy rain. So, you know, but that's Florida weather in July.
This and much more coming up right now on The Solo Show, brought to you by Victor Naraki Realtor, serving Disney and the greater Orlando area with celebratingflorida.com. Let's face it, it's been a rough year. We are all of us dreaming of better days ahead, and a part of your bright new future could be a move to where the magic lives in the greater Orlando area of Florida. One of the biggest decisions you'll make when considering a move is selecting a realtor who can successfully match you with the right home in the right location at the right price. Victor Naraki is the realtor who can help you make the move you've always wanted to. Whether you're a first-time homeowner or are looking to move near Disney World, Victor is in your corner. If you're looking for an experienced real estate agent covering all of Central Florida, please visit celebratingflorida.com today and find out just why you should work with Victor Naraki. I encourage you to create a free, no-obligation account on this website. By doing so, you'll unlock the website's full potential and be able to enter specific criteria, save listings, and browse new properties sent to your email. Visit celebratingflorida.com today. And remember to let Victor know The Solo Show sent you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our final boarding call and the doors will be closing soon. Please board quickly and safely. Please stand clear of the doors. Thank you.
Broadcasting from the Solo Studios, located in the backseat of a love bug called, well, you know the name. Here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, the center of North America, on this little planet we call Earth, this is The Solo Show. On this adventure, Stan is doing a favorite kind of show, a trip report. In the guest host chair is Dan Hansen. For real this time. No, really. Dan is one of the co-hosts from the Grand Circle Tour podcast, and he will share stories of fun for the whole family and tips for a supercalifragilistic adventure in Walt Disney World. Plus a lot more coming up right now. So please welcome your host, the guy who doesn't want a cure for the love bug. Here's Stan Solo.
Hello and welcome to another edition of The Solo Show. I am Stan Solo as always. And joining me today is my favorite co-host. Oh, hang on. Wait a minute. That's the other show. I get confused when I got Dan on the show. This is what's going on here. Dan Hansen from the Grand Circle Tour podcast. Welcome aboard.
Stan, how are you today? I am so excited to be on the show with you.
Was I supposed to ask you Walt's Up? Or is that the other one? I can't remember.
That's the other one.
That's the other one. Oh, okay. So Dan went to Walt Disney World. When did you went over to July long weekend?
I went, we left the last Sunday in June, and we came home the day before the 4th of July. So we were there as the calendar turned to July.
Okay, so you're there for the Canadian.
Which, by the way, we'll talk about, made a big difference.
Okay, perfect. We'll talk about that. So you went, when did you say the June?
I think it was June, like 27th or something like that.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. You can't remember. It was like a week.
Like a week and a half ago.
Yeah. And you're in the New York area. You fly out of O'Hare? No, JFK. JFK. Chicago all of a sudden. JFK.
Yeah. New York and Chicago are not that close. I know it's still the U.S., but it's not close.
You don't drive to Chicago and fly out of there?
No,
really?
We don't do that.
Oh, okay. So you fly out of JFK. You didn't drive. And who all did you go with?
So I went with a big group. I was the official tour guide this time. I went with my wife, my two boys, and then we took another family with us too, our neighbors down the block, my 9-year-old son's best friend and his family. And it was the husband and wife, and then they have a 12-year-old boy, a 9-year-old boy, and a 6-year-old boy. So we had 5 little boys.
I was going to say, you had a lot of kids on this one.
Yeah.
You should know better. You don't bring children to Disney.
The little boys outnumbered the adults.
Yeah, no kidding. You should go to places where kids eat free if it's like that.
Good luck at Disney. You can't find those.
Yeah. You got to go off property for something like that.
Yeah.
So there was 5 kids and 4 adults.
Yeah.
Wow.
All boys too.
Oh man! And did you all stay in the same building, same room?
Yeah. We had we got a 2-bedroom villa at Saratoga. Just finished the remodels. Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. They have the middle room now has 2 Murphy beds, the one Murphy bed from the wall, and then the other Murphy bed like the Polynesian has underneath the TV. That's like a little twin bed. So the 6-year-old slept in that one. The 2 9-year-olds slept in the pulled down Murphy bed. And then we had basically 2 me, my wife, and the baby slept in the king bed in the master bedroom, and then the other slept in the other bedroom.
Oh, nice.
Plenty of room.
Oh, right on. And you're DVC, so you get all the perks that go with that.
Yep, DVC definitely. We did have I will say a couple things. I love Saratoga. I'm a big Saratoga fan, and the remodel is beautiful. But a few things. We did some wash this time for the first time ever.
Yeah,
because I had the washer and dryer. As soon as we put the washing machine on, water started flowing from the ceiling.
From the ceiling.
There must have been a pipe going up above where the washer and dryer is, and that pipe just exploded as we started doing the wash. So that was a little like but we were on our way to the park, so we were going to let the wash go while we were on the park. So I quickly called maintenance, and my wife actually got sick during this trip. She had like a 24-hour bug. So that same day she came home, she came back to the hotel, and she said they were there working on it like all afternoon. So
it's a good thing you didn't just slam the door on the washing machine and walk out.
Yeah, that would have been terrible. But they were good. They fixed it, and it was very little inconvenience.
Yeah. Saratoga has the tree houses, right?
They do. All the way on the other side, though. And a lot of people don't like Saratoga because it's so large. It's everything is so far away. As a matter of fact, I like staying there because they have the bridge to Disney Springs. And if you listen to the Grand Circle Tour podcast, you know that Disney Springs is my first favorite park. We joke around about, but we still had to drive to the bridge. We could have done the walk, but after a whole day of walking in the parks, we just didn't want to walk that 15 minutes, So we hopped in the car. We drove 2 minutes to the other side of the resort and then walked across the bridge.
Parked on the bridge.
Yeah.
So is there parking near the bridge, or?
Yeah, there's parking all over the place. There's a lot of parking.
So there's some rooms that are closer to the bridge.
Exactly. We just drove to the rooms that are closest to.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Man, that's lazy.
Yeah. You're tired though,
Yeah. 15 minutes is a long walk after doing it all day.
And then we know we're going to walk around Disney Springs all night after that. So,
Yeah. And have you ever stayed at the treehouses? Because the treehouses look amazing to me.
Nope, never stayed out there. We did play around with the idea of doing it this trip. With the reason that we didn't is the remodels. We knew that there was going to be a remodel, so I wanted to stay in the newer rooms. If there wasn't a remodel, I bet you we would have stayed at the treehouse this time.
Yeah. Just because you get your own barbecue too with the treehouses.
Your own barbecue. It would have been great for the kids. The boys could have ran around.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I don't think the boats are going for down the
there's no boat transportation, which kind of stinks because that's one of my favorite parts about Disney World.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that the bus service to the tree houses is not that great either. You have to take a bus to Saratoga, and then you got to transfer to a treehouse bus. So,
okay, but you can park there. And you have your car with you.
Yeah, and we had our cars. But I will say this: we rented 2 cars, but there's 9 of us, and we weren't always all together. Like I said, my wife got sick, so she took a car home one day. So there were times I had to take a bus, especially someone like me who likes to stay as late as possible. I was always the guy taking the bus home at the end of the day, just because both cars were already back at the hotel by then.
So how were the buses? Because last time I talked to somebody, the buses were every other seat, plexiglass between, mask on.
That's all done. There's the masks, there's still a mask policy, right, for the transportation. So if you're on the monorail, the bus, or the Skyliner, you do have to wear a mask. But you sit right next to each other. And before I left, I had heard that there was no standing on the bus, but they were standing on the bus this time. I stood.
Oh, so they're packing him in already.
They're packing him in. Yep.
Okay.
So
Yeah. And I know I was following along with quite a few people, like especially on like July 1st, Canada Day was the first day for the fireworks at Magic Kingdom. It was raining cats and dogs. So what was the weather like for you on this trip? The whole time rain, or?
First half of the trip was great. I mean, listen, when I say great, we're talking about Florida heat. So it was hot. I mean, hot,
Yeah.
But that was the first couple of days. And I had a few friends that were there the week before, and I met up with them our first night, and they were like, "Oh, you guys are so lucky because it rained the week before a lot." But as I think it was like around Tuesday night it rained. Wednesday was good. Thursday and Friday, I mean, it was just rain. It just poured like monsoon rain, just crazy rain. So, but that's Florida weather in July. That's just what it is,
Yeah. And your wife's a teacher, so that's why you go in July.
Right. Yeah. We very rarely can get down there in any other times besides her vacations, her holidays that she has, or the summer vacation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And New York summer vacation is basically the last week of June to the last week of August.
Yeah. I'm quickly learning, if you're a teacher and a Walt Disney World fan, that's not the best job for you to have. It's great having the summer off, but
yeah,
man, oh man, to only be able to go in, June, July, August.
Yeah.
That's
we've gone, President's Day week in February. We've done that. We've done, what else have we done? I guess Columbus Day weekend. I guess that's in October-ish or September-ish. We've done that. So,
Yeah.
We've done Easter.
Oh, okay. Easter's nice.
Yeah.
February's nice too.
Yep.
One of the things I always like to talk to people about, I know we're going to be doing a dining show with the Grand Circle Tour, so we won't go too much into what you had for dining. But I would like to know, so when was the last time you were at Walt Disney World?
The last time I was at Disney World was two and a half years ago. And, obviously that's because of the pandemic of not going for a year and a half.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was about a year before the pandemic I went.
So Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railroad was new to you.
Yep.
Galaxy's Edge was, you've been to Galaxy's Edge.
And the last time I went, I did not go to Animal Kingdom. So actually, this was the first time I was ever in Pandora. Also,
oh wow!
Okay. I know. So there was that. It was weird. It was a lot of new stuff for me.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Now, have you been to Galaxy's Edge before? Definitely not Rise of Resistance, but Galaxy's Edge before.
All for the first time.
All for the first time. Oh wow! Okay, so let's start off with Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad. This is your first time riding it. I haven't had a chance to ride it yet, so I can't make an opinion. Were you a fan of the Great Movie Ride?
Yes. One of my favorites. Was
this a smart move or a not so smart move, changing it?
If you would have asked me a month ago, I would have said it was the dumbest decision ever.
Yeah.
Today, I'm going to tell you that ride blew me away. I loved it.
Nice. I hear that.
The ride. Yeah. And it was just, and the other thing is that I was with a family who were not hardcore Disney fans like I am. And I was kind of like the tour guide. So I was telling people this is what we need to do. And we went to the way our schedule was
we need to do Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad because I've never done it before.
Well, we did Hollywood Studios the last 2 days of our trip, right?
Oh, okay.
And I talked about earlier, as soon as the calendar hit July 1st, something changed at Disney. Mm-hmm. It got so crowded. Now, of course, the fireworks started those days. I guarantee you that there were more park reservations starting July 1st. It had to have been the case because, we were doing walk-ons. I mean, we went on Big Thunder Mountain 3 times in a row, back to back to back, because there was no lines. We get to Hollywood Studios, which I know is the more crowded park, but you're talking about hour-long waits on every single attraction. So there was a point where we were getting a little tired of like waiting in line and kind of like thinking to ourselves, well, maybe we're not going to get to everything. And I told the family we were with, no, we have to go on Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Mm-hmm. When they got off that ride, they looked at me and they said, I had no clue how cool that ride was going to be.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they just thought it was going to be like a Winnie the Pooh type thing, like that kind of like kiddie ride.
Cardboard cutouts.
Yeah, exactly. But it was great. It was great.
Oh, no. And they looked at the wait time and they go, are you insane? We're not doing this.
We actually rope dropped it the second day.
Oh, nice. So you got to ride it twice then?
No, we only did it one day because we couldn't get on all the attractions the first day.
Oh, right.
The lines were so long.
That's insane.
Yeah.
To not be able to ride.
Yeah, yeah.
You've been to Toy Story Land then? though.
Yeah, I've been to Toy Story. Actually, the last time I went was about a month after Toy Story Land opened, and I went there for tour.
Okay. Now I already know the answer, but did you get on Rise?
I did get on Rise.
And what boarding group did you get?
I got boarding groups the first day and the second day. The first day I was able to get boarding group 15, which I was so proud of myself. Like, wow, that's great. And the second day, what did I get, Stan?
Boarding group number 1.
Number 1. The everyone says it's not possible. And I sat there and looked at my phone. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I got number 1.
You knocked me off the Grand Circle Tour Tower because I had boarding group. I think was it 3 or 2?
Yeah.
Last time I went, you knocked me down.
Yeah. But I will say this, and I've told you on the side in the chat. But man, it's tough getting boarding group 1 when the crowds are so heavy, or even boarding group 15. When you have to be at the attraction the first hour of the day, that really hurts you as far as getting on other attractions when the lines aren't that long. And it almost like sets you up for failure the rest of the day. So it's tough.
So what you're saying is don't try for number 1.
Yeah. I don't know if you can get that greedy, I'd like boarding group 50, please. Like,
just get what you can get.
Yeah.
Shut up. Don't be crying you got boarding group number 1.
Right. Because the attraction,
what did you think of Rise?
I loved it. I loved Rise. I was a little surprised about how long it took, even like to wait in the queue, even with boarding group 1, right? You still have to wait like 40 minutes in the queue.
What?
Yeah, because I didn't go there right away, right? Like, so there's still a line. You still have to go through the whole process. It was, I wouldn't say 40 minutes in the queue. I would say 45 minutes from getting on to getting off, like getting onto the line, the queue. Getting off the attraction was about 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's surprising me.
Yeah.
Because I wish I could remember. I think it was boarding group 3. We basically just walked on.
Yeah. But again, I didn't.
We went straight there.
Yeah. Right. And I didn't do that.
Yeah.
The other part of Star Wars Land, though, I know a lot of people were like kind of blowing off the Millennium Falcon ride. I thought that was great. I really thought it was awesome. And maybe it was because I had my son and his best friend being the pilots, and I was like half the time just laughing at them as they were like destroying the Millennium Falcon. But I had a really good time in that ride. The best part about the whole trip, to be honest, was our last night. We had signed up for lightsaber and droid building late. So I'm talking about like 8:00 at night.
Yeah.
And the park closed at 8, but they keep doing the reservations for a little bit after that. And what they do is they let you stay in the land if you just bought a lightsaber or a droid. And it basically turns into like a lightsaber duel with like everyone. And the lights are off, and it's so pretty and like kind of peaceful because it's not that crowded and not hot, obviously, because it's dark out. And that was just unbelievable.
Yeah. Now, is the lightsaber building experience, is it back to a full experience? Because I know that for a while they were kind of, I think it was always a full experience, but they were only doing every other table.
Yeah, it's like that. And the same thing with the droid building. They were only doing, I don't know, skipping every other or whatever, but it's full now.
Yeah. That is such a good experience.
Yeah. And I have to say, the droid building, I had more fun doing that.
Really?
I did. I thought it was cool. You get to pick your parts and the colors, and my son made it. We're New York Mets fans, so he made it the Mets colors. And we had to find how to do it. And then we used the screwdriver together, the electric screwdriver. It was just a cool like father son thing.
Yeah. I think if as an adult, that wouldn't be as fun.
You're right.
I think because you're doing it with your son, that's what made it more enjoyable.
Yep.
I know, like when I did it, I did it with, like, I didn't do the droid building. I only did the lightsaber, and I did it with Scott Clark at Disneyland. And afterwards, when the lights went down, we pulled out our lightsabers and we were running around and getting photos. And it's like the only time you can have a lightsaber in Star Wars Land is when you buy one there. Like, I don't know if you're allowed to bring them in with you.
I don't think so.
That's through the front.
And I do have to be honest, because I actually wasn't in the lightsaber experience because I didn't purchase it.
Okay. So you weren't in the experience.
So I wasn't in there. I was just there as they.
You missed it. Oh, damn.
Yeah, I know.
It's so good, the lightsaber experience. How did you miss out on that?
Well, you only allowed one guest with you.
Yeah.
Right? But it's funny because the droid, they say one guest, but maybe it was because it's the end of the day. Who knows? They let everyone in, like all of us.
Oh, nice.
You know.
Well, you could kind of go in and just sort of hang out at the
Yeah.
droid building. Like I've gone in and looked at what it's all
In the
about.
little shop. Yeah.
But yeah, the lightsaber, you only allowed if you have one table, you're allowed one guest.
Yep.
Type of thing. So you should have bought a second lightsaber, man. You got to go back. It is an experience.
Yeah. And by the way, it gets freaking expensive. I mean, listen, we have 5 boys here. You know, the lightsabers are $215. The droids without the bag are $100. You know, with the bag, it's $170. You know, you're talking about it's really expensive. You know, we have.
Hang on, you had 5 lightsabers and you weren't able to go in.
We didn't get 5 lightsabers. We made all the boys had to choose lightsaber or droid. That's what they had to choose.
Oh,
you know?
Okay.
And Connor has a lightsaber at home.
Okay.
And he wanted the BB unit. He didn't want the R2 unit. He wanted the BB unit. So,
yes. By the way, the Mets colors are the exact same colors of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, the blue and gold. So
blue and orange. It's not gold.
Yeah, yours is blue and gold.
Okay.
So, yeah, I guess it's a bit different.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so if you ever want to, donate that BB unit to somebody.
And then I was proud. My son, he goes, before they activate it, they said, "Do you have a name?" And he goes, "Uh-huh." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, it's CAH9. Like, CAH9, what the heck does that mean? It's his initials and his age. And he thought of that all by himself. I'm like, oh, that's very nice.
Very nice. That's very cool. So I know we kind of skipped over, you were talking about the Smuggler's Run. Again, going with a group is so much more fun than if you go by yourself.
Without a doubt.
With 5 strangers.
Yep.
Yeah.
We knew every day. I felt bad because we had to split our party up a little bit, right? So like in our cabin, we had one extra seat and they put us, I guess they have single rider. I guess they do, right? Or maybe they had someone else go on with us, but there was one girl that was on with us.
I believe single rider came up just before you got there. Like,
is that what happened? Yeah. So she's about 12 years old. Like, I felt bad for her because we're all like screaming and yelling and like.
What position was she in?
She was a gunner. I was a gunner.
So she had a better position at least.
Yeah. So, but she's yelling at me that I wasn't doing it right, and I was just like, "Come on, stop ruining the experience for us."
I know I went with my wife, and we were both the was it the navigators or whatever the heck you do? Engineer. That's the worst position. and there was these 2 ladies that were in the gunner positions. Well, they were just going along for the ride. They were like the one in front of me didn't push one button. Yeah. And so I'm sitting in the back seat and I'm reaching up and I'm pushing her buttons. My wife got so mad at me.
You were literally pushing her buttons and figuratively pushing her buttons.
I was pushing my wife's buttons at the same time. Yeah. So Flight of Passage, Avatar, did you do both Nahi River Journey and Flight of Passage?
Yeah, I have to say, Stan, and I know I'm going to get hate mail here. Man, I liked Flight of Passage better than Rise of the Resistance. What? And I love Rise of the Resistance.
I have heard a few people say that, and most of them are in the home now. But
no, it was really good. We had to do a lot of child swap, right? Because we had the baby. Liam's almost 3. So I did the child swap on this one. So they all went on without me first, and then they came back. And just to see like my wife and the other dad that I was with, who's not a huge Disney fan, he looks at me where I'm in the gift shop, and he looks at me. He's like, "Dan, that was amazing." He's like, "Unbelievable." So I'm like, okay, and like obviously I've heard and I've seen videos and like I've done all my research and everything, but to hear it from them, it was like, okay. And then I'm telling you, Stan, when I went on it, I was just blown away. I thought it was the best ride I've ever been on.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big words. Big
words for a huge amusement park.
So is Rise number 2 then for you? Nope, Soaring, then Small World.
Yeah, like listen, okay. So you know what? Even though it may be the best attraction I ever went on, I just said Splash Mountain's always gonna be my favorite. Thunder Mountain's always gonna be one of my favorites. So
yeah.
They're all in the top 5.
Yeah.
Including Rise.
It's getting to a point now, like some of the newer attractions are so good. I know. You almost have to have 2 different categories, like your classic category and your like I love Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin.
Yeah, I love it, right?
I love that ride.
Yeah.
But I also really like Carousel of Progress. I also really like Tiki Room and so but that's more of a classic
Yeah. And that's something that I was, because I'm trying to do some like side research here for the podcast and stuff. So every time we had dinners and lunches, I was asking everyone, rank your attractions in this park, and like writing notes. And by the end, people were like, I don't know what one's in my top 5,
Yeah, yeah. I still think for Animal Kingdom though, I think the Savannah is still my favorite. I prefer that over Flight of Passage.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is good. It's good.
Yeah. Keep in mind, I keep my eyes closed for 90% of Flight of Passage. So I'm just getting bumped around in the dark.
You don't get motion sickness on the safari ride.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So what else were you doing there that was kind of different that you'd never done before?
Yeah, we did. We've done the Flower and Garden Festival a ton of times before, but this was the first time when they had the food booths. So it was very similar to, food and wine, mixed in with Flower and Garden. So that was the first time I ever done that. Like we said before, my wife's a teacher, so I don't get there during Food and Wine Festival ever. I love that. Listen, World Showcase, that's my favorite thing in the world to do. So we spent a lot of time at the World Showcase. Again, lots of rain while we were there, so that kind of dampened it. But just tasting all the food and walking around and, the different drinks and the food, we had a great time. We did, the boys did the Kid Cot at every single pavilion. So that gave us a little chance to take us a few drinks, while we were in each of them.
And dry off a little bit.
Dry off, right?
In the air conditioning freezing.
Yeah. So,
right on. So
yeah, that was fun.
That's a full day then. If you're hitting these booths, having a few drinks, doing Kid Cot.
Yeah.
Shopping.
We did that. And then what we did is the last day, I told you we did the lightsabers and stuff late. But what we did is we started the morning in Hollywood Studios. We took the Skyliner, just did the countries. We had dinner in Mexico. Then we took the Skyliner back for our droid building. So it kind of like broke up the day a little bit,
Oh, yeah. That was the other thing, because the Skyliners would have been new for you. You would have even seen them being built almost.
Yeah, they were being built when I was there, but this was the first time I was on the Skyliner too. It's crazy to say this stuff because, really the pandemic like put a monkey wrench in all of my plans, and I've had 2 trips canceled because of it. So, for someone that goes to Disney as often as I do and have all this new stuff to experience, it's like a surreal feeling a little bit, and maybe that's why I thought it was one of my best trips I ever been on, because there was so many new things.
So what were your thoughts on the Skyliner?
I thought it was great. I think they should do it from every hotel to every park. It was easy. It was convenient. The only thing I will say, we talked a lot about the rain. When it rains, they shut down.
Yeah.
And it rained a lot, so it was shut down a lot. So, when I say we, me and my family went ahead from the other family, and we got over, and then it started raining, and this other family was about a half hour behind us, and they couldn't take the Skyliner. So then they had to take a bus. Yeah. So they had to take a bus, and then they had to transfer the bus, and it was like really annoying,
Yeah, that's the thing about it. Is it's then there's been 3 times when they had to shut it down for mishaps.
Yeah, whatever. They doors fall off of monorails too. We don't make it.
Yeah, that's true. Concrete slabs falling from the sky.
The other thing I will say is that the construction at Epcot, although I'm all for the remodel and everything, it is a little annoying. It almost forces you, right? You can't crisscross from one side to the other. So when we got there for our Epcot day in the morning, we rope dropped it. We went right to Soarin', and normally we would just cross the park and go to Test Track, right? Or something. I don't know. We wouldn't just stay on that side. But I think a lot of people are forced to just kind of do the attractions in order, like kind of pick a side and then do the other side after that.
So I guess people would do like Spaceship Earth and then the land and the seas.
Exactly.
World Showcase and then hit Test Track on the way out.
Exactly. Something like that. Right.
Did you get to see the Space 220 restaurant being built? Did you notice it at all?
I didn't notice it. I even did try to look for it, and I was just kind of like a little like out of sorts when I was looking for it. So
yeah, because I'm wondering how that's coming along. I haven't heard any updates recently. I imagine it's going to be open in time for the first October 1st.
I've heard. Yeah, that is going to be open October 1st.
That's insane. It was originally supposed to be open like 2018.
I know. It's great.
They were like, "Be open before Christmas 2018. We promise."
Yeah.
Wow.
But,
The fireworks, did you get to catch both?
nope. We didn't. We like I said, we were there the first, so it would only have been the first and the second because we left the third.
Yeah. You were at Magic Kingdom.
We were at Hollywood Studios both of those days.
Yes.
And we did make our way over to Epcot, like I said, that one day, but we had the Droid building. So we had to go back to Hollywood Studios. And the Thursday, which would have been the first day of fireworks, I was toying with the idea of trying to get to Magic Kingdom. But then I thought to myself, you know what? Everyone is there. And if we didn't get to park, we had the park hopper, if we didn't get in at 2:00 when park hopping opened, I'm pretty sure it probably got capped at some point, and I didn't want to take the ride over there just to be turned away,
Yeah. But at the same time with all the rain they had, but it was packed considering how much rain was going on. People weren't even.
Yeah. And it was raining too. And that was another thing that kind of and it was, we only had 2 more days. So you know what happens at that point. Your feet are killing you. Everyone's a little cranky, right? So we had spent that whole day in Hollywood Studios, and it was, like I said, it was so crowded compared to our previous 5 days where it was not crowded. So we were a little okay, we need a little break right now. It was one of those days where we all went back to the hotel, shut our doors, and didn't talk to anyone.
Boom, boom, mad.
Yeah.
Turn the TV on for the kids, and that's it.
Right.
You weren't mad. You were just
it was just time to get some alone time,
Yeah. I always say to people when you're going a big group trip, split up.
Yeah.
Don't hang out together. Get together for dinner.
Yep.
That's what you did.
And I kept telling people that. I kept telling the family that we were with. I was like, listen, I don't want you guys to feel obligated. I'm here to help you. And that's why they wanted to go with me, is because, they wanted me to show them a good time. But at the same time, they do need their family time. So we went to a couple dinners in Disney Springs, and after dinner, I said, okay, you guys do your own thing. You guys do your shopping. We'll just walk around, whatever. Same thing with my wife. She was incapacitated for 24 hours of our trip, and, not to say anything bad about my wife, obviously, but it was nice to be with my boys and just doing our own thing, because the other family kind of did their thing also. And it was an experience that we'll always cherish, because it was just the 3 of us,
Yeah. Those are special moments for sure.
Right.
I know, you mentioned Disney Springs. Anything exciting there?
Yeah, I mean, it's back to normal. I'll tell you that much. Music going, people drinking as they walk around. We had 2 great dinners. Like you said, we're going to do a dining review on GCT also. Yeah. So try to catch that show. But I'll tell you a little bit about the dinners on that one. But I was very, very surprised with a few of them. So,
okay, that's something to tune into for.
Yeah, a little teaser.
Yeah. Couple of teaser for the Grand Circle Tour part 2.
I'm a big foodie, so I like food, and I have a rule on the Grand Circle Tour podcast that I try to not repeat my restaurants until I get to them all, and then I'll do them all a second time. I try. I don't always do it, but
I don't think I'm the same way. I don't think we're ever going to do that, because they keep opening new ones.
Right? And they keep changing things, right? So a good example was Crystal Palace, right? Mm-hmm. Is that still the same restaurant? Well, I mean, it's the same seating, but it's not the same food. So I think I have to go back there now,
And now, for now, at least. I've done Ohana dinner and I've done Ohana breakfast.
Same here.
Yeah, so that counts as 2 different things.
Exactly.
I've done Crystal Palace breakfast and Crystal Palace dinner. Right. So that's 2 different things.
I agree. We're on the same page.
Yeah, we're on the same page here. Right on. Any special magic happen? Any cast members do anything special for you?
Well, there's one story. Pretty cool thing happened. So I get a lot of friends on Facebook, I guess, from the podcast and just being part of the Disney community. But there's this one gentleman who was actually on America's Got Talent. He's a friend of mine. He's a magician / comedian, now retired. And what is his retirement job? Well, he's a janitor in Magic Kingdom. That's what he wanted to do with his life.
Does he do magic as a janitor?
No, he doesn't do magic.
He makes it trash.
He just wanted to work in the Magic Kingdom. That was his retirement gig, So he does it, and he posts these awesome inspirational stories all the time about his meeting with different families and different interactions he has with other people. And sitting there in Adventureland eating a citrus swirl with my family, and who walks over but Jeff from Facebook. And I look at him and I said, "Are you Jeff?" And he looks at me and he goes, "Are you Dan?" I was like,
"Oh, wow." Of course, you could just read his name badge.
Yeah, and he actually made that joke when he posted one of his quote unquote inspirational stories of meeting me on Facebook, and he wrote that. He said, when the guy said, "Are you Dan? Are you Jeff?" And he wrote parentheses, "I always forget I have a name tag on."
Dan does it at the grocery stores all the time.
Right.
Are you Ed?
But it was great. He went over to my sons and he was like, "Oh, I listened to your dad's show." And he's like, "I was watching his live video today," because I had done live on our Grand Circle Tour Magic Ticket Holder Facebook page that he had actually seen, and he brought it up. He's like, "Oh, I watched it this morning before work." I was like,
nice.
"Oh, cool."
So he knew to keep an eye open for you then.
Yeah. I think, obviously he knew I was there. And it's funny because in the beginning, I don't think it was registering in his head. Like it took him like a couple seconds to be like, "Oh, you're the guy from the Grand Circle Tour podcast,"
Oh, that's so cool.
So that was really cool. I was very happy. And it was funny because he was training other janitors at the time, right? By the way, that's another thing we should talk about. Ton of training going on. Everyone is training everyone. They're just doing so much hiring.
Yeah.
But Jeff said, he said to all like his trainees, he's like, "Oh, this is Dan. He has a podcast, blah, blah, blah." It was really cool. So
that's cool. So Disney's hiring like crazy right now. So if you're looking for a job, you can go to Walt Disney World, apply for a job, and get your house via Victor Naraki.
Yeah, right.
It'd be perfect. Just tell him I sent you.
We went to Skipper Canteen for dinner one night, and I don't know if you've ever been there. Have you been there?
No, Canteen? That's on my list though.
Okay. So there's two waiting rooms when you walk in. There's one that's kind of like an open air waiting room. And then there's like an inside waiting room that they have to call you in if you're like the next family in line. And it's like a little like inside seating area. So they called us into that probably because we were a large party. We also had two reservations that day, one at 5:05 and one at 5:10. And we were trying to combine them so we could all sit together. And when we got in that room, there must have been, I'm not joking, Stan, like 8 to 12 people just in a line, all being trained by this one skipper.
Yeah.
And we waited there a very long time because of our request, right? We wanted to sit next to each other. And when I say a very long time, I'm talking about at least a half hour. And this guy did a personal like comedy show, Jungle Cruise style, to the 5 boys for like a half hour, like just joke after joke after joke.
Oh, wow.
And he was also doing it not only to entertain us, but to kind of train the newbies on the Jungle Cruise jokes. He was like kind of teaching them how to say the jokes. That was a really cool experience.
I also know something special happened to you while you're in line for the Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, we were the next people online and it just stopped. And me being me, my wife hates it, but I went right over to one of the skippers on.
What the hell's going on?
I don't say it like that, but I say it in my podcast, style, like smooth. So, what's going on here? And Skipper Tori just told me everything. She was whatever question I asked, she was answering, and she basically said that one of the boats got some water in it. It did not sink, although in the beginning we thought it did, but they had to shut the ride down. And then what they had to do is have a towboat go out there and tow it out. And I got to see it all because I was right there. I was right on the dock. And, I saw the boat go back, went backwards through the Jungle Cruise.
I was going to say, so not to spoil the magic, but these boats are on tracks.
Right. But this one towboat was not.
Oh, there was the one that wasn't.
Yeah, I don't think it was. It may have.
Or did it just go backwards?
Maybe it was just going backwards on the track. Maybe that's what it was. That's probably what it was.
Yeah.
But then they had this big tow line, and they tied it up to the other one, and it towed the boat in. Towed it all in, and and then the next boat was going to be the towboat, and I went to go get in the towboat, just thinking, oh, I'm going this one, and they're like, no, you got to wait for the next boat. So would
the towboat just be a regular boat?
It could have been a regular boat, but they didn't have any guests go on the boat. They just had it go around the track by itself.
Okay, so then the next boat was the one filled with water. So that's the one you got into.
But I saw them. What they did is they had to put that one in the back, and there's like a whole area in the back. So they maneuvered it, and then the boat after that was done.
Okay, so they didn't put you in the water that was full of
the boat that was full of water. Of course, I was hoping for that. I'm like, no, put me in that one. I want to go that one.
It's not like as if you don't have spare socks on you at any given time. You're known for having clean socks.
But the only thing bad about it is, at the end of the Jungle Cruise where you have to wait for the boats in front of you to board, and he says, well, there was no waiting because there was no one in front of us.
Oh,
so we
you get the
through
it.
But it was cool because we set it up so that we had that attraction, and then we went right to the Skipper Canteen. So it was like a whole like Jungle Cruise, like inspired evening. It was really cool.
Did you do Tiki Room before that? Because that's the order
we did. Exactly.
There you go. That's the order.
I did that all on purpose.
Oh, that's
the family I was with was like, why do we have to do it in this order? I'm like, trust me, let's do it in this order.
So hopefully we were able to record this entire thing without voiceover Ken and Jeremy Goff coming in and interrupting, because you were on the show before with me.
Yeah. Well, for those that don't know, the joke is that I've been trying to get on the show for years, and Stan just never invites me. And then the one time he does invite me, we got hijacked.
Right. So you can go back and listen to that one. That one came out on April 1st of this year. And so that was an interesting show.
And listeners, just to let you know, Stan still didn't technically invite me to the show. I sprung it on him and said, hey, why don't I come on your show and do a trip report? And he's like, oh, okay, I guess I should have you on.
Well, that's all what the show's about. If you want to be on the show, let me know. I'll have you on. I'll invite just about anybody to come on. All you need is a microphone and a Wi-Fi signal. You can come on the show.
That's it. That's all you need.
And a love for Disney who doesn't hurt.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Any final thoughts there?
Yeah. Like I said before, it was one of my favorite trips ever. I had such a great time with people I was with and my family, and the lines weren't too long. It's different without FastPass, so you have to wait on it online. You have to kind of be smart about it. But I used a touring plan, and we did it the right way, and it really wasn't that bad. And it made me kind of appreciate some of the queues a little more that I had never in the past have sat in or stood in, because I was, always using a fast pass. So, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. I still want fast passes to come back, but it wasn't the worst thing in the world. But
I don't think I've ever done the queue for Flight of Passage,
right?
Other than like Moonlight Magic and just walking right through the entire queue. Like there was no queue. Like there was no line.
Right.
But yeah,
right.
I haven't seen that queue.
Yep.
But
that and the food was great. I was so impressed with the food. I mean, like I said it before, but we're going to do a dining review, but I wasn't expecting much with the food. I thought maybe, with staffing issues and not everything being open, I wasn't expecting much, but it was definitely one of the best food trips I've ever been on also. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So tune in for part 2 of the trip report with Dan, and it's going to be all food at the Grand Circle Tour podcast.
All food over on the other podcast.
All righty, Ken, take it away.
If you have a brilliant idea for a future edition of The Solo Show and would like to take your turn in the guest host's chair, then drop us an email at thesoloshow01@gmail.com. Tell us your idea for the show, and we'll contact you about a date and a time for you to join us. If you would just like to keep the conversation going or have a comment about a previous show, then visit us on Facebook at The Solo Show. All logos, sounds, and songs that are made by and for Disney and its affiliates are owned solely by the Disney Corporation and are not, nor are they intended to be, the ownership of The Solo Show podcast. We hope you'll join us for the next adventure on The Solo Show. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.